This title was a point of excitement for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the last two games in this franchise, and indeed the Tomb Raider titles before those ones, Legend being a favourite of mine. Firstly, I'd like to say I'm running this game on a mid-range card from 2 years ago, and I was fiddling about with the settings as I played the game to get them as high as I possibly could, so sorry for any scenes that slightly vary in visual quality. I like to try to reach my 60 FPS sweet spot for graphic settings, but in this case I could only run the game at 30 FPS on medium settings, so boo me and forever damn my gaming rig to hell, I guess, is what most of you will be thinking. Anyway, onto the review. Also, spoiler alert, I'll mention the game's story, gameplay and characters as we go on. Rise of the Shadow of the Flight of the Planet of the Apes of the Return of the Tomb Raider is a graphically amazing game, and even on my setup some of the scenes look gorgeous, like this one from the start of the game in a small Mexican town.
Don't worry. Go, play.
The readings at the site are unlike anything we've ever seen.
Gameplay is as you would expect, although this iteration of Tomb Raider features much less of a focus on combat and more on side quests, collectibles, hidden tombs and larger areas.
What is this place?
This is Commander Rourke. I want the site secured ASAP. When Dr. Dominguez arrives, we all go in together.
This may sound like a straight up improvement to some of you, but I feel that all the optional content like shoot 4 hidden frog statues in this village is not really engaging at all and actually takes you out of the game world that Crystal Dynamics are trying so hard to make you feel a part of. With this in mind, the other exploration based content better be pretty good then. And it's okay. The hidden tombs are more plentiful now but felt less high quality than before. There are some standouts but none that really blew me away. Some glitchy and unintuitive puzzles also dampen an experience that's meant to make you feel smart, but just made me feel a bit miffed. Like this bit where you have to climb this sort of ascending, spinning, dangerous tower. So I jumped to this bit. Okay, I die there, so I guess you're not meant to go there. I don't know how that level of fall killed me, but obviously you're not meant to go there. Except, oh wait, you literally just have to go down and around, and then you literally go there. So you are meant to go there. What? Why does that happen? Areas are larger now than before but feel largely empty, and the quote-unquote main area that you often return to is pretty large but is full of characters that seem like cardboard cutouts, with voices playing through a speaker attached to their wooden cardboard cutout faces.
Put it back, you must. The mistress said if anyone saw it, she would get in trouble.
Why would she get in trouble?
Please, Ahau, don't...
Oh god, shut up, Pinocchio. Jesus. So for me, no real improvement on gameplay apart from some quite cool combat mechanics that you use about 4 times throughout the game, as there's largely no combat sections, and many of the ones there are feature boring target practice against maniacal goblins. How's the story then? An improvement on the last games? No. Lara has to stop someone becoming a god, because they'll use that power to recreate the Earth in their image, whereas she'll not do that, and instead she'll restore the sun, which is dying. I don't know about everyone else, but I like it more when Lara is dealing with realistic problems and fighting tigers, rather than trying to stop some paranormal event from happening. It's the little things that interest me, like when we see her terrified standing before a leopard that could rip her to pieces any second, or escaping a tomb as it crashes and falls apart behind her, rather than all this godly, Mayan apocalypse-inspired madness. Maybe it's just me. Gear and weapons are handled much in the same way as they were before, with Lara finding them as she progresses, and also as a reward from optional exploration. However, I never picked up any actually cool or very useful gear. Most of them increase the amount of resources from plants or animals or something else, but as I'm a completionist, I was always exploring, finding these resources anyway and maxing my inventory capacity for them, so this gear was all pretty much pointless. One set that makes Lara harder to detect, which you get at the very start of the game, was what I used throughout, which is a bit disappointing. And climbing walls is as boring here as it is in the previous titles, with Lara being able to climb ledges or those rocky wall bits with her climbing axes where you just push up and have nothing to do until you reach the top, the bottom, or wherever you're going. The addition of rappelling and climbing on near horizontal sections of ceiling seem great, but actually just make these barely interactive sequences longer. Oh, and the end of this game doesn't even finalise the trilogy, or not as much as I would have liked. I wanted some proper, oh, and now she's the Tomb Raider for realsies, to make her feel like she had finally become the badass we played as in the original Tomb Raider game onwards. But this one just sort of ends, and she goes off travelling again, like she already has both in Tomb Raider Reboot and Rise of the Tomb Raider before this. There are some brilliant animations, set pieces and cinematic scenes, and the voice behind Lara has definitely come to find her character here. Which is good, because you'll be hearing a lot of her voice throughout this game.
The pre-Columbian ceramic jar seems to be depicting 2 gods in conversation. I can't quite make out the glyphs between them.
Okay, so what am I examining to find?
Oh, smells vaguely fungi.
Okay. The relationship between Jonah and her is more solid than ever, but again, characters like Roth from the past few games made me feel much more attached than he does even in this installment.
Jonah! Jonah!
Lara! I was so worried.
I failed. Worse.
And no new characters that are introduced here are very interesting either.
He has the
I don't know, something about Lara coming to be comfortable as the Tomb Raider rather than being terrified and new to the whole idea, like back in the 2013 game, just makes it all feel a bit boring to me, I guess. I will say though, some of the collectible diaries and memoirs of travellers from before you that relate to the story here are actually interesting, and I read all of them, which is quite impressive for in-game documents, and especially in a game with this many. These things almost always fail to keep me interested, but here they did quite well. All in all, if you want to see more of Lara climbing around collecting 3D models of pots and stuff, but this time in a true jungle setting, then you'll find things to like here, but if you want the definitive end to this great trilogy, then it definitely falls a bit flat in terms of character and story arcs.
What do you think we'll find?
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is a competent and at times impressive game, but in the end, it just drowns itself in an overabundance of side content and unimpressive story threads. I don't really know how to end this video, so I'll just open this bottle cap near the mic and see if it sounds good. Huh, yeah.